creep waves down, got really good farm, and from that moment you can actually see that they're about 1,000 XP, 1,000 gold ahead, and their supports were slightly higher level. So the start was actually weird but nice. But I do want to say that Kurokai just played amazing. I love a Rubik that isn't scared to actually find farm, because you scale really well in terms of being able to position versus any team. And he farmed up a Blink Dagger as his first major item, went into a Ghost Scepter and then a Force Staff.
With Arcanes on top.
Yeah, with Arcanes. And so he was just constantly looking to find farm around the two, carries, Dendi and also Havost, and he was able to get it with Puppy and Jungle, and it really worked out for him. And then Funnick, with the good early start with the mech, was able to get into his Blink Dagger as well. So it was a really good distribution of gold across the board for Na'Vi that really allowed the whole team to be strong, not just their carries. The things that I didn't like about LGD, Clockwork. Is it a dying breed of hero in competitive gaming? A lot of the times we say, you think that initiation is great, being able to get in on your terms, but when you're up against certain lineups, you can't initiate with a Clockwork unless you've got something significant other than just being there. A BKB, a Force Staff, because he had such a good time on his lane to start with, just because of the lack of supports that were there from the Na'Vi side. But he wasn't able to find the farm kind of like Kurokai was on his Rubik. So he was so starved, and it was like, and if you just get like a Force Staff, it's not great, but obviously because you're going to probably get a DK stun. But being able to put up a cogs and trap something and Force Staff back out to your teammates and rejoin the fight where the mech is, etc., and then allow the cooldown to have its effect, that's a good enough item. BKB would have been great. He went for it, couldn't get for it. So I'm just not sure how Clockwork's working out these days.
I disagree with the Clock in here. I think the idea was for Clock to actually probably not survive. It was okay with the Clock not surviving this fight. But if you think they have so many hard-to-line kind of spells where you have, for example, the Torrent into Boat, you have the Call Down from the Gyrocopter, and you have also the Visage Familiars, which you can locate, and as soon as, if you get a good hook into 2 or 3 people, which granted, it's hard, but I mean, at this level, these guys can pull it off if they know that they're clumping together. You could potentially do a lot of damage. I don't think they managed to execute it as well, and it came down to sometimes poor execution from LGD China, but I want to point out, like, we talked about the good about Na'Vi. I think at some point, especially in the early game, they, first of all, took it very slow when they could have executed better and gotten better advantages.
I felt they were just waiting for their BKBs.
Yeah, and sometimes they stayed a little bit longer than they should have, and favorable trades, like when they got 3 clean kills, they got just 1 death out of nowhere because they overstayed the welcome, which is not bad because they ended up 27-9.
I don't think I can fault Na'Vi's early game that much though, because you saw what Dendi was doing, right? He's like, I am a DK, I can hit your tower every once in a while, and if you want to initiate on me, these guys are going to deal with you. And Kurokai he stole Boat, he stole Cooldown, he was really pretty much on point, and Funnick was so healthy in terms of just being able to, like good amount of items. He was, even without the Blink Dagger, he was able to turn a fight even if there was
I really like the
wrong.
BKB and Darkseer.
Yeah.
Pretty much allowed him to.
I actually thought that Rubik was going to go for one as well, Kurokai, instead of a Force Staff. But yeah, like their tactic, maybe they did stay around a little bit longer, but it seemed like they just wanted to take what they could and use Dendi as a very aggressive standing DK, and it kind of worked, because a lot of the times the enemy team, instead of farming their other heroes, were all waiting, going, when's the right time to go in? They were like, when's the right time to go in with our Clockwork? And there wasn't always a great time.
Yeah, but then that's pretty much the story of the game. Na'Vi, if they keep doing the same, they will. I think LGD China is not prepared to play against this Na'Vi the way they are now. Probably they will experiment with something different. I think LGD China proved that the Kanka pick, maybe they could have gone for something that could punish the Dragon Knight more, right? I mean, in theory, the Tidebringer deals damage. It goes through your armor because you hit the creep, and the damage that propagates is the damage that you do to the creep. but it didn't feel enough.
Yeah, concur with even going early points into kind of X marks the spot. I felt was not necessarily needed when you have a clockwork. It's like when it's scrappy and you want to really get advantage and lead the way.
Yeah.
It can be really good, but they did lose a little bit of damage on not having torrent. And but overall, yeah, I think Na'Vi just led from the get-go, even with some weird openings, with showing everybody mid, walking away,
And then smoke.
then smoking, then trying it. Unfortunately, they didn't make anything happen.
Yeah.
And then actually stacking the jungle and just leaving Havost on the bottom lane versus a clockwork.
Almost seemed to me like both teams were playing with slight nerves in that game.
A little bit, yeah.
Especially LGD just very reluctant to take fights. Na'Vi those kind of halting early moments, but then they said, "Okay, guys, let's go."
Yeah.
Havost says, "We're going in. It's gonna work."
I mean, this is where
And
this is where you wish DDC and DD were like net and support that could do something in the early game. You talked about Nyx Assassin and Visage never making a single gank throughout the game. And Na'Vi is not like the team that they always clump up and farm as 5. In fact, they could be greedy because they know the enemy team won't get.
That's true. Part of it was just the good movement from Na'Vi. They weren't getting caught out. They were playing together. They had Sentry Ward. They were almost always prepared for the Nyx. They got a fairly early gem, so I think they did all the right things to kind of deal with that aggression. But at the same time, you pick a Nyx, you pick a Visage, you don't contest the enemy tri-lane. You got to get some pressure on the enemy team.
Yeah,
and
there was no pressure at all.
Didn't work out.
Yeah, they were very irrelevant, unfortunately, the Visage and
Yeah.
Nyx Assassin. Apart from the Visage, when he got pulled up onto the little ledge.
Where he was doing soul assumptions to
was
everyone.
so many soul
I
assumptions,
think
yeah.
he was super happy about that. He was like, yeah, I'm really tanky and I'm getting loads of soul assumption charges, but unfortunately he didn't get a kill. And actually Na'Vi ended up surviving. But yeah, Funnick putting out some moves there.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens next game. I'm expecting LGD just very capable players of besting Na'Vi, a different lineup. They didn't get the Darkseer. It's one of their key heroes that they like to play. Great for team fights. If they had something like that over a clockwork, I felt that would have gone a lot
I
more
agree
even.
with you, yeah.
But Na'Vi actually first picked it, and then and I just want to see more Kurokai on Rubik.
Oh,
yeah.
you'll keep seeing him, don't worry.
Good.
It's his hero. Before we go to a break, this is DPM Licious time for... it seems that because
What's
we're...
DPM Licious time?
Well, this apparently because Navi is playing and she took a page out of Zero Gravity's book, she's making an
Zero
announcement.
Gravity has a book.
Yeah,
What's it called?
it's called Ruminations of Zero Gravity. But yeah, she's making an announcement of an announcement, and she's making me make an announcement of an announcement of the announcement. But whatever, for all of you guys, apparently, I'm reading here. Yeah, Alienware Cup Facebook, which is facebook.com/Alienware Cup, we'll be doing, I'm writing, we'll be doing giveaway of 100 compendiums tomorrow.
Compendiums.
Sweet.
Compendiums, yeah. Well, they will start tomorrow, and they will be. I'm being corrected at the moment. So if you go there, you can't do anything now because there's nothing in the Facebook.
You can like the page.
Yeah, you can like the page, which is cool.
And then it will tell you when the competition's up, and you'll be ready.
Yeah.
It will come up on your
But
feed.
I don't know. It starts tomorrow. Do not expect compendiums today
Announcement of
because they start tomorrow, and that's the announcement.
All right, guys, get out your notebook, get out your pen.
Yeah,
There's
and
about 45 directions. Let's go.
Exactly. No. It's just that like them, or I don't know. Just wait for them. They will have the directions. And also because DPM Licious is also such a nice girl, she's also doing her own giveaway of 100 compendium because she wants to compete with Alienware.
Did you just buy 100 compendiums yourself?
Yeah.
You did. You're a nutter. How much did that cost you?
Well, $1,000.
You just spent $1,000. What do you do for a living? This whole Alienware Cup is just a front for some sort of drug operation you're running.
Have you seen me?
Jesus. Where'd you get this Hawaiian shirt? Anyway, go like the Alienware Cup page. It's awesome, and make sure you give some props, to Mastercard and Alienware. And hopefully, if enough of you guys like this, and this is going to be the last day of the Alienware Cup, so hopefully, if there's enough good feedback, you guys enjoyed the tournament, you left some feedback on the Alienware Cup page, you gave it a like. Hopefully, that will encourage them to do a season 2 because everyone's short. We're all looking forward to the international, but then we have a whole nother year. I wonder if we can get a few more Alienware Cups in, and with some, more Western teams going over to compete.
Absolutely.
That would be interesting if that can happen for a season 2
I mean,
and whatnot.
imagine if Navi makes it, right? We have first Alliance, then Navi.
And then what next?
And then what next?
Red
Who comes next?
Pandas.
I was going for the question, but yeah, I think that answers the question. The next
Anybody could.
Anybody could.
That was the thought process.
It's kind of like Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Yeah.
We just donate
Who wants
to get
to go
the
beat up
Keeper
on
and
some
Pandas to
Chinese?
China.
See, I did it before Alliance. I was beating up on Lumi last year. So
Yeah.
they're nothing special. We've done better. It's okay, buddy.
I'm being outnumbered here. I can't even say anything without feeling physically afraid.
That's why we have 3 white people on the panel.
And also, I'm not white, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You look sort of white to me.
Yeah.
Y'all look white.
Anyway, I was going to say, make sure you stick around,
Yeah.
because Lumi later will rap. If you don't know, there was a discussion on stream a few days ago where Bruno was like, you now get more towers as a whole team.
I was bullied
more
into
gold.
taking that bet.
Yeah.
You now get more gold as a whole team when you get towers. So, and Lumi was like, no, you don't. And then they tried figuring it out. Bruno pulled in Ice Frog, who pasted him the stuff, and it turned out Lumi lost. If Bruno lost the bet, or was wrong, not the bet, if they bet, even, if whoever wins loses or whatever. If you lost it, you were going to have to do...
Oh, unbuttoned shirt and Lumi in my chest.
Yeah, right, Lumi in his chest with unbuttoned shirt. And if Lumi lost, he was going to have to do a rap. We put out a poll on what the rap people wanted. I wanted Wild Wild West by Will Smith. I can't remember what LD's was.
No,
And
Lumi wanted
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air by Will Smith. And then Bruno came up with Lose Yourself.
Lose Yourself by
with-
Eminem.
By Eminem. And Lumi later in the show, we're not sure when, we're going to get a karaoke version. And then we're going to have him rap. It's going to be, I fear it's going to either be amazing or horrible. And
Or
either
both.
way could probably end his rapping career before it even started.
Or could kick it off.
But that will be coming up later, and I won't bang on about it too much because I don't want to build over the importance. But it is the highlight of the show.
We'll do it before.
Navi and LGD are kind of
They're the background
second
noise.
Sideshow.
We'll do it after game 3, no matter what. If Navi wins 3 games, we do it after it's over. If LGD China gets 1 game, we do it in between the breaks between game 3 and game 4. So get ready, Lumi.
Yeah, I'm
It
looking forward
counts.
to that. So yeah, I think LGD, as I mentioned, going into game 2, change lineup. They can be a completely different team because
Change lineup as in bring Ferrari, bring Joe.
Hero pool, but like, yeah, as you mentioned, Visage didn't do much, can't rotate, Nyx didn't get any ganks. The Clockwork wasn't very relevant in the team fights apart from just one when they didn't have mech, which they didn't need it. They didn't really need to take that fight, which you mentioned they did stay around a little bit longer than they needed to in some fights. So we'll see what the hero pool brings us next game. Otherwise, though, it looks like we're going to be ready pretty soon. I'm going to look over to my lovely producer. Hello, producer.
Wake up, producer.
What would you like
The
us to-
producer.
do you want to put yourself on webcam? No. Okay.
This
You can have,
webcam
like-
is now like a tool for James to bully.
It's
Yeah.
like
Cow
sleep
with.
cam.
Can we roll that one clip once again?
Yeah,
I don't think a lot of people have seen it.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break here. We can run the intro that people missed, and then we'll come back and we'll do game 2.
Yeah, looks good.
Sound good?
I thought you guys wanted to do adverts to make money. I mean, how many viewers have you got right now?
52K.
Oh, we'll run ads over it.
LD's all about running ads. Don't worry,
If you
man.
subscribe, you won't get ads.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
LD will get more money.
The
So
teams
be
are ready.
careful.
We should be getting underway very soon. Game 2 is coming up. It's going to be Navi versus LGD. Navi leading the best of 5, 1-0. This is the Alienware Cup brought to you by Alienware, MasterCard, and DPM Interactive. Stay with us. Are going to the grand finals of the Alienware Cup. I
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on sweater already. Mom's? Who the fuck writes mom's spaghetti? He's nervous, but on surface he's calm and looks ready. This guy's a terrorist.
Welcome back to the Alienware Cup Grand Finals, where Na'Vi, as we all now know, because we're all watching.
Yeah.
We're very tired. That's why we don't make much sense. A 1-0 up. I'm going to ask you guys before we get into game 2. I've said we're ready in the studio. Sorry, Kawa. But I want to ask MVP for the game. Mine's going to be Kurokai.
Yeah, Kurokai.
He went
But
7-0-9.
a honorable mention to Havos, which farmed
Yeah.
really, really well.
I don't know what to call him now, because you guys call him
Kuroki?
Kuroki.
I think we're wrong. I'm not sure.
I think
As
it's
a-
Kurokai.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
yeah.
I've met him a few times and I'm like, what do I call you? And I think I remember getting Kurokai.
Well, he's-
but,
Well, you've talked to him.
but the thing is, he doesn't mind. He's like, anyone's good.
Yeah.
He's like,
You know,
Kuro,
he's
it's
actually-
not
he's-
Kurok.
his name is Kuro, like his real
Kuronity.
name.
Kuronity.
It's Kuro.
Yeah, yeah,
So people call him
Kuronity,
Kuro
yeah.
normally.
Yeah.
It's fine.
yeah. All right then. So MVP for game number 1, guys.
Funnick.
Funnick
Funnick
for
and
me,
Kuroki
yeah.
or Kurokai were very
Yeah.
close, but I think those vacuums were filthy.
The initiation was sick from Kuroki. Definitely
Yeah.
made it flashier play, but for me, Funnick with the kind of overall.
Darkseer's, I think
well-rounded play.
Darkseer's the slightly trickier hero to play because you have to make sure that vacuum hits. If you steal a spell, it doesn't have that long of a cooldown, you just throw spells out here and there. Not that Rubik's easy, but for me, the vacuum is the big thing you really have to hit.
How many times have a Darkseer ran in and then got stunned and died, and you're like, what is Darkseer doing?
Right?
Right,
We've
yeah.
had quite a few moments where
Right.
we're like, what are you doing?
And Darkseer played well.
He also vacuumed 2 heroes on a cliff. My
Yeah.
goodness.
Ellie had no idea what was going
What? I wasn't looking that way.
Huh?
on.
Well,
Huh?
we're going into game number 2.
Yeah.
You
Game
know,
number
game
2, guys.
Game 2 starting.
It's like
Pay
game
attention. be
number 1.
serious.
But
You asked us a
better.
fucking question. Fuck you, James. All right, let's do it. We're inside of game 2 now. It's Na'Vi versus LGD Gaming. Best of 5. Na'Vi leading the set 1-0. They've traveled a long way to come to China. They're here to train, to prepare for the International 3, and also to take all the Chinese money they can. Well, the Alienware Cup, LGD, they're the last bastion of hope for the Chinese fans out there. Can they bounce back?
Well, we'll see. LGD, when they need to bounce back, they need to ban Alchemist now, because when Na'Vi picks, when they have the first pick, they always, no matter what, select the Alchemist. And if they don't have first pick, which they didn't have last game, they ban out the Alchemist. So let's see what if LGD has been paying attention to that. Of course, if they do ban out the Alchemist, Na'Vi will most likely pick Bat Rider. I'm not sure which one you want to give away.
They'll pick Bat Rider. They could get a snap up something like a Darkseer, and then whatever they want is that they want a jungler or a Rubik early, they could take it there. We'll see what they go for, but I don't think Darkseer for Bat is necessarily that bad. It's more a question of what do you prefer as far as style goes.
Or you could ban something dumb, or like something not as high priority, like a Chen, and then say, hey, you can have Alchemist. We're going to get Bat. We're going to get Darkseer. And equivalent
okay,
that
if they
way.
give away Alk, they cannot. Every time an Alk gets free farm in the safe lane, they lose. Like,
It's Xiao Bat, though.
like whoever gives away uncontested free farm to Alk, I would say like 80 to 90% of those games, we have seen the team that gives away the farm to Alk loses.
It's Xiao Bat, though. Does that equivalent things somewhere?
He has to hit on those first ganks. If they want to give away safe lane farm to an Alk, they have to connect on those ganks. They have to take early engagements to take towers. They've let the Alk through.
Yeah, they
I don't
let-
know if Na'Vi will first pick it, though.
They are very much so on the first pick.
They might.
Alk plan. But they also never really had to make the decision between Alk, Bat, and Darkseer. And knowing that they will give away 2 back is kind of a big deal. So I think in terms of this draft, LG says, here's your move. And no matter what move you make, we're going to take it back. So yeah, I like the draft coming out. It's
I'm
gonna
just
be
reading the chat from 2 minutes ago. I still have no idea what happened, but I look over, we're suddenly in the draft, and the intro is me telling James to go fuck himself.
Well, it's going to be a Bat Rider first pick here by Na'Vi and Darkseer and Alchemist from LGD. So all things going according to plan here for the Chinese team.
Alchemist LGD, a Darkseer for them. I actually like this for LGD a lot.
Here's the thing: when Alchemist is played on Chinese teams, sometimes they throw it mid, and I don't like that.
I don't think LGD China will do that. Generally, I believe it's been Sylar taking mid. That's something that DK has done for Super, that IG has done, I think, once or twice for 430, and Tong Fu very rarely does it for Mu. I think LGD China more likely to see this in the safe lane as a farmer.
Okay, we'll have to see.
But we'll have to see.
Xiao A definitely does play Darkseer solo mid. Of course, Yao could play in the solo top position as well. We'll see how that particularly goes. Na'Vi right now might be looking to secure their jungle and whatnot. I haven't seen Dendi play Bat too much. I haven't seen Dendi play kind of these top tier band hero too much, but I'm sure he could play that hero quite well. Have you seen it before?
Have I seen who's?
Bat. Dendi.
I haven't seen Dendi Bat. It's normally something Funnick will take to the offlane or to the jungle, I believe, but we'll have to see. The thing is right now, LGD, only the Darkseer will really match up well against Bat. That's another reason that you'd be reluctant to put Alk mid is Alk can just get completely stomped by a Bat mid. He'll have to sit very far back. Sure, you pump Acid Spray, but Bat can easily deny all those creeps. You end up just getting really underfarmed. So I think either a Darkseer mid or even could just be a jungle Darkseer and LGD. You're running a safe lane Alk, you can abandon the off lane. You get so much out of the Darkseer jungle anyway. I think LGD China should just look to defensive trialing the Alk, jungle the Darkseer, or put a mid and abandon the off lane.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that as well. So Na'Vi looking for their second pickup. They have a ton of option here. They're going to go with Bane Elemental, so this is definitely Kuroki's hero. Haven't seen Puppy play it too much when they both draft supports. That's going to be a good way to at least slow down or stop the Alchemist. Not too sure whether it's a foolproof rate. You cannot really rely on Nefibo, but it's definitely, I guess, a stopgap at least for the early game damage.
It's kind of like how we saw teams would pick Bane versus Alchemist or versus Lone Druid, where Alchemist is the new siege unit of carries. Like, he just goes on your tower with an Assault Cars, pops the Chemical Rage, and the tower HP just melts. So I think Enfeeble versus Alk is actually a fantastic choice. Also, he's a melee carry, so Fiend's Gripium isn't that hard. Darkseer in particular could be tough to get the initiation. You try and jump in and drop your vacuum. There's a lasso, there's a flame break, and most importantly, there's sleep and grip. So it will be very tough for this Darkseer in the team fights if Na'Vi play it correctly to actually get a good initiation.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to defend against a good initiation as well. If Na'Vi is pushing with the Bat Rider flying over trees, right now I don't see LGD having heroes to actually slow it down. Acid Spray is pretty good. It's a safe spell that you could lob it at the creep wave very far away, and it'll eat away at the creep wave. They need something else, something that's long range. We saw it last game in the form of things like Rocket, in the form of a Tidebringer or a Torrent. They need something similar to that. I'm not saying they need a Clock or a Kunkka, but something of the same sort to kind of long range siege down the creep waves. Because you don't want to stand close to a Bat Rider.
You could drop Acid Spray, but you need something else.
Right,
so be it a Windrunner, we saw that banned in the second stage. It is available. I think a Windrunner would be a decent choice. One of the heroes that does pretty well mid versus Bat Rider. You can farm from distance with Power Shot. If he ever goes on you, you can always pop Windrun. They'll need to rotate someone like a Bane if they want to kill him. So that could be an option for them. I'm trying to think. We've obviously seen LGD China many a time has turned towards the Magnus and just angled for ultra late game. In theory, you've got Vacuum, you've got RP, and Empowered Alk, maybe the biggest aspect of it all, just cleaving through everything. But that's a triple melee core against a Bat Rider and a Bane, these reliable disables that can punish melee heroes. So even though LGD might be thinking about Mag, I'm not sure it's really the best choice in this game.
I like Mag here because, like you said, Empower is very good. It gives you early stable lanes. Not exactly the best laner. They do ban out the OD, so maybe they are.
I think they're thinking about something like a Mag.
Yeah. I like Naga Siren quite a bit as well.
They've run that as a support.
Yeah.
So if they get a Naga, I think we'll see an Alchemist Naga +1 defensive tri-lane, maybe a Lina Twin-Headed Dragon.
One of the best way to deal with Bat is he jumps in, grabs one of the dudes, you sleep. And then the Flaming Lasso's over, you reset, you jump on the Bat because Bat is suicidally initiating on you.
Well, they won't take the Naga here, maybe thinking they can snap it up with a later pick. Navi did ban Naga, or was it? It was actually LGD. So what was it, Navi?
Somebody banned.
One of them banned it in the last game. So these teams are aware that Naga is a hero to be thinking about. I don't think Navi will go for it now. They could if they really wanted to control this Alk, but they can wait on their carry, since almost certainly it's going to be a farming Alk for Sylar. So Navi not really forced to pick a carry now. I think we'll see another solo come off the board. No, they'll get the Gyro.
Gyrocopter is a hero that Havos likes quite a bit. It really synergizes with how Navi likes to play, which is early game aggression. If it goes late enough, the game gets drawn out. It's still a very powerful late game hero. Yeah, fairly safe and good pick here from Navi.
LGD don't have any way to deal with a BKB right now, aside from Alchemist just coming in and trying to bash the Gyro. But there's Grip, there's Lasso. if it's a one-position Alchemist, they need some really strong lockdown beyond a Jakiro and a Darkseer from these supports. So be it a Magnus, be it, I would say a Shadow Demon, he's actually banned. Maybe even a Rubik that can steal Fiend's Grip, that can steal Lasso. Rubik actually would be a decent choice if they won. But they need something more to set up the Alchemist for success. Because no matter how big this out gets, there's a Grip, there's a Lasso, and you have to fight through the cooldown slow. Well, they'll go for a Nyx Assassin, but I'm not sure if Sylar can actually get into the fights if Na'Vi play it correctly.
Well, I mean, the Grip could easily get stunned up by Vacuum or Ice Path, or now even the Nyx Assassin. They have pretty decent long-range spells. I think the Nyx Assassin is mostly actually to deal with the Bat Rider. He jumps in, he activates his Firefly, he grabs, you walk in a spike. And that's a way to reliably stun him no matter where the bat is. So it's okay as a pickup. I personally would favor Naga or some sort of another long range, or a hero that gives you more utility in team fight. Meanwhile, Navi's going to actually get Lina, so I'm not sure who plays what now, because both...
This could maybe even be an aggressive tri-lane from Na'Vi, and I think they can get away with it, because they have 3 range tiers if they want to run the Gyro tri-lane, and LGD have a Nyx and an Alk. Sure, there's a decent amount of AoE, it's a decent tri-lane with levels, but at level 1 to 3, that tri-lane's pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, and of course, if you actually initiate with Nightmare into an LSA, let the Gyrocopter walk up to set up that Rocket Barrage, that's a ton of damage output. So.
Even a safe lane Gyro does well against Darkseer, as I mentioned before, and they could get a Windrunner for Funnick, tri-lane Windrunner, Lina Bane. That's really going to make life hard for this Nyx Alchemist.
No, they're actually banning out the Magnus himself here, Darkseer, or LGD China, so...
Yeah, that could be an option. I guess that's sort of the question is, I mentioned it could be a Funnick Windrunner, but that would put Dendy on the Bat. And is Bat really a hero that Dendy would play? I have personally never seen him play Bat.
I haven't seen it either. But actually, I think I've seen it once, and his Flame Break, I remember, was really good. But you expect... This is definitely a very Dendy-esque hero, right?
Okay, well, Lumi, you were right. You said possibly solo mid-Alk. I guess it could be a mid-Darkseer and a tri-lane Alk, but probably a solo mid-Alk, off-lane Darkseer, defensive tri-lane Spectre. Late game secured for LGD. That's for damn sure, but... They've got to get there.
This is the strategy where LG pioneered like 2 months ago, where they're winning a ton of games off of, which is, as we see, oh my goodness.
Funnick Clinks. Oh yeah, we've kept it on the cards. People have said, get that off there. He doesn't play Clinks anymore. Boom. There's your Clinks.
He does, once in a blue moon.
Once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
And so now this puts a Dendy mid-Bat, a safe lane Clinks, and the aggressive tri-lane, Gyro, Lina, as well as the Bane. I like these lanes from Na'Vi.
Yeah, I really do as well. I mean, the matchup of... Well, they're going to get a 1v1 matchup, I think.
Yeah, the Clinks versus Darkseer, but that's a matchup Funnick has played and won quite a few times in the past. He should be more experienced with this matchup than Yao.
Yeah.
Not many Asian teams run a safe lane Clinks.
And Darkseer is actually surprisingly weak against the kind of the harassment that Yao or the Clinks could put out. Well, let's actually introduce the team here. LG China down 1 game in this best of 5 series. Yao is going to be playing Darkseer on the offlane. He's going to be playing against the Bone Clinks on the other side. Meanwhile, on the mid, it's going to be Xiao H, solo mid Alchemist. It's going to be a utility build. We're going to see things like Mech Vlads, tank up with BKB and things of that sort. Sylar on the bot lane is going to handle the Spectre, DDC on the support Nyx Assassin, and of course DD on Jakiro.
And on the dire side, it's Na'Vi leading 1-0 in this best of 5. We've got Havost handling the Gyro, Kuroki, or Kurakai, as they're calling him now, on the Lina, Puppy handling the Bane. Taking up the reins of the Bat Rider will be Dendymon, and the safe lane will be Funnick on his signature Clinks. Very excited to see a Funnick Clinks this game, and I would definitely give him the edge. I think him and Yao are pretty similarly skilled players, but Funnick's got a lot more experience with this matchup. He's played both sides of it, so I give him the edge here. And if he has a good start, a mid-game Orchid is just going to ruin LGD. Darkseer can't initiate, Nyx Assassin won't be able to do anything. Even Spectre, that additional soul burn damage adds up quickly, and he won't seem nearly as tanky. So look to Funnick to really control this game for Na'Vi.
Don't forget the fact that a Orchid will just make Alchemist useless without BKB. Anytime he charges with a stun, he's stunning himself. So, and with the Orchid damage on top of that, it's
yeah, maybe he can get off a mech, but that's it.
Yeah, so, well, Na'Vi is going to go in the jungle, already warding it up. You don't want them to tunnel through. You don't want them to pull. So, a lot of dedication in this early jungle. In fact, when you're playing offensive trialing, why not? Don't let them pull and try to actually kill them and harass them. Havost with the invisibility rune might actually get a kill. Is rocketing away at DDC. That's going to burn a couple of tangles.
Suck on that, DDC, Havost says. And he won't kill him, but that's some early regen forced out. Only 3 tangos for your Nyx. They pulled Sylar just a touch. Going to be a very hard lane for Sylar. If Puppy wants to, he can take an early point in Feeble. He's not skilling it yet because I think he'd rather try and go for a first blood. Save for the sleep. If you can catch someone out, sleep into the Light Strike Ray, into the Barrage. It's the more aggressive build. The safer build would just be an early point in Feeble and completely shut down the Spectre's farm. But truth be told, I don't know if Sylar can approach the creep wave anyway. If he does, he's got to be worried about getting first blooded.
Yeah.
This is not looking good for LGD in the tri lane. They're going to lose this lane for sure.